here, and she's very well cared for, and I don't know that we would have found that anywhere else. Sometimes I think right now they know my mom better than I do.
I know it feels like we've just begun the month of April, but before you know it, May is going to be here, and believe it or not, the weather is going to be even more beautiful. So where are you going to end up going but into downtown Chattanooga to enjoy the beauty and the scenery? And so often that means Coolidge Park. So we are giving you a special reason to head over to Coolidge Park on May 7th. Catherine Warren is here. She, of course, has the founder of Art 120, and this time you're calling it We Make in Coolidge Park. Is that right?
That is correct.
So is it the idea that you show up that day and it's all these different artists doing their thing?
So also, like, you know, we've started this as the Scenic City Art Car Weekend for several years, and a lot of people don't understand that it's very inclusive. Anybody could just maybe make a cardboard horse out of their bike or roller skate and wear a fun costume. So we realized that the name was kind of not being as inclusive as we'd like. And after we brought the Nation of Makers Conference to town, we were like, it's all about making and creating. So let's just call it We Make and make sure everybody knows that they're included.
So I had the wrong idea. I thought, so this is the Art Car Weekend. It just has a new name.
Yes, yes.
So you said something about creating. And do you feel sometimes, the art teacher in you, like we section ourselves off sometimes as a culture where you're either a creative or you're not. You're a math person or you're not. Where everybody has a creative eye, they just don't give it a chance to come to light?
Oh, I completely agree with that. And I also think creatives have a lot of science and math in them. They have to do a lot of research if they're going to create a particular sculpture. There's physics involved. Even visual art is, you know, how you perceive color and light.
Right.
So there is actually a lot of science behind it. And I think one of the biggest things that is a barrier in communication, not just in creativity and with communicating between students and peers, but also in the workplace sometimes, if we stay siloed and isolated because we're not coming together and sharing ideas and being open about it and being open about, you know, this person has a great idea about how we can add fire to an element, you know, to make it exciting or different, engaging, or help with a theme, or how someone can embellish something to make it even greater than what they anticipated. So when you work together, it creates something amazing, and that's kind of what will happen on Saturday.
So, okay, how does it work? May 7th is the date. So what are people going to go to the park and see that day?
So, and I also want to mention, we are partnering with the Hamilton County Department of Education art teachers, so you're going to see some art exhibits. You'll see a few performances, and we will have some vendors out there selling food and art. Our international market will also be out there. And
then the art cars
and we will have a lot of art cars lining up that River Parkway there.
Don't people travel in for this?
Oh, absolutely. We have artists coming from Ohio, Texas, and Florida with a lot of different varieties of art cars. We actually have 2 artists coming in from Houston starting next week, and they're going to do an art car build leading up to our event, which is super exciting.
I know when you first began Art 120, and those of you watching might not know the history, and I might get it wrong a little bit, but you came from Houston.
That's
right, to Chattanooga, and you began to realize that there were not art programs in a lot of elementary schools, and you thought, well, I can do that. And that's how it started, right?
That's absolutely correct. It's like when I noticed a lack of art programming for elementary school students, which is so important for them if they want to be able to communicate visually or discuss what they're passionate about. This is something they need to be instilled into them at an early age. So in Houston, we drive the art around. We get into places and spaces where when people can't go to a museum or normally have access, we can bring the art to the people, and just like that, we also bring the art into the schools.
When my children were little, they're 17 and 23 now, but when they were little, I used to keep in the kitchen, everybody does, I guess, but you know, papers and crayons and that kind of thing. But kind of we had a nightly routine, or if they were stressed out and they would come in and talk, and I just would have crayons and paper, and before you knew it, we were just kind of doodling, each one drawing their own thing, and you weren't always talking, but it's such a relaxing time in an otherwise anxious moment. Do you find that to be true?
Oh, yes, yes. I think we get, especially now with so much things that we've been going through for the last couple of years between COVID and all the stresses and stuff. One thing I love about seeing the art out in public and also giving people an opportunity to create or make something silly and join us is it gets you out of that mindset. It gets you away from that negative energy and away from the things we've been dealing with and just celebrating who we are and having fun.
Right.
That's probably the biggest.
Did you say
takeaway.
Something at the beginning about a cardboard box? Didn't you? Or a cardboard?
Yeah, you could just make a horse head out of cardboard, attach it to the front of your bike, and make a tail out of an old mop or whatever you wanted to do.
So your son, you were talking to Daphne Kirksey and me a minute ago, that he is it electrical engineer?
Yes, he is. He's still in school.
Okay, so those are those math skills that you're
Absolutely.
talking about. That is no small thing. If you want to do the horse head on the bike, well, you still have to make it proportionate.
Exactly.
Is this, the event itself is free?
Correct.
The food vendors, are they all local or are they coming in from different places?
They're all local. We work with a lot of refugee and international people in our community because also part of connecting cultures is a big part of connecting art. And we partner with Culture Chat on that to bring in the artists and the vendors that will be serving food. And we did 4 international market events this past year, and it was a huge hit. So we are excited to bring it back again and have these artists and vendors with us, connecting these cultures and selling food.
And the schools that are going to be represented within Hamilton County, will some of those students have their pieces for sale?
Actually, it's really mostly for exhibit.
Okay.
For this one.
Okay.
But that is a neat idea, you know.
Well,
And,
the fun thing about art when you do go buy something is that if you buy it in an intimate setting like that, or at a gallery, you get to know the story behind it.
Absolutely.
As opposed to buying it at a store.
Yeah.
That it's just a print.
Yeah, and it is the day before Mother's Day, so we will also have artist vendors out there, and I think it's just a great time to treat mom to something really nice out in the park, to see all the kids work.
Yes.
And also to maybe pick up a little gift for mom.
And she'll love it because no doubt she has all of your kindergarten artwork upstairs in a box somewhere.
That's absolutely true.
We all keep it, don't we, Catherine?
We sure do.
And oh, I know what I wanted to ask you too before I let you run. Are y'all ever looking for volunteers at Art 120?
Absolutely. We can always have volunteers. And volunteers with us have some of the best fun because we are always making and creating something or putting an event together or doing something exciting. So we always want people to come join us and participate.
Well, head out there. It will not be a beige weekend, I can tell you that. Color-filled. March 7th, the fun begins at 11, runs until 3 at Coolidge Park. This year it's called We Make in Coolidge Park. You can learn more at art120.org. Thank you.
West Yellowknife Trading